to raise your hand or type in the chat, or if you have a conversation joiner, something you want to add in what we are saying, please do well to let us know. We'll be glad to have you in this call, and we want to have a conversation, not just somebody talking to everybody. And please do not hesitate to stop me to add or throw more light on any part of this conversation, especially one that you think needs more talk around it. And yeah, so let's get started. If you want to look for a job in Canada, one of the important things you have to do is to sit down and understand what this job market looks like. And when I say this Canadian job market, there are different jobs for different layers of what you are looking for. What that means is that depending on what you are interested in, depending on the kind of employment you are interested in, and depending on where you are in your journey in the country, immigration-wise, study-wise, however you are looking at it, your expectations for yourself and circumstances around you, there are different kinds of job that you need. For example, a person who is a student that does not have enough time in a week to work. For example, let's say you are doing a course that is 8 to 4 every day. You go to class 8 to 4 every day for the 5 days of the week, and the only days you have are Saturday and Sunday. If you are going to look for employment, there is a particular kind of employment you will be looking for. That is a different conversation if you are somebody that has an open spousal work permit and you can work as long as you want and however you want, and there is no restrictions at all on how you can work. It's different also if you are somebody that is just about to find a job because the study you are finishing does not have an option for a postgraduate work permit. Every kind of job that you are looking for demands that you study the Canadian job market to fit what it is that is the expectation that you have and the industry has for you, the kind of things the employer can do for you, and where you are trying to get into. If you are somebody that, take for example, our first scenario of a student who goes to school 8 to 4 every day and has only Saturday and Sunday, that student has 24-hour work week allowance. If that student wants to work in a place, he cannot work in an industry that works regular office hours of 9 to 5. Clearly, he cannot. He needs a kind of work that is amorphous, that allows people to come in on the weekends and can allow him take more than the regular hours that somebody can work. Let's say normal legal work hours is 8 hours per day. You will need a kind of job that may be lenient enough to allow you to work more than 8 hours a day so that you get the full options that you have, the 24 hours, you can work it all out, and you can also make a living for yourself. That student may also decide that instead of actually having to work those kind of work, that they can go to an industry where they can volunteer and learn experience for when they finish work, when they finish studying. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so your expectation, where you are at the time, your kind of visa status, because I'm talking to people who came into the country as immigrants. If you are not somebody like that, then this conversation may not be very useful for you. But you can stick around and hear what we have to say. But this is majorly targeted at people who are in this country to study an undergraduate, a postgraduate, or whatever kind of degree, and are majorly coming in from Africa, or people from a country where they are in Canada studying on a temporary basis or live in Canada permanently now. So figure out what your industry needs and tailor yourself to meet the needs of that industry. What am I saying? If you find the industry you want to work in, if you desire to work in an industry that meets this kind of expectation, Figure out what that industry expects from you and tailor yourself to meet that. Another thing you can do is also to research employers. What researching employers mean here is that you should be able to figure out what employer can take a lot of people that are in your position. For example, let's go back to that student that just finished school, our second scenario, and has a postgraduate work permit expectation. However, while in school, Canada changed the rules and it just wasn't possible for them. What would that student be looking for? That student will be looking for an employer that can issue them an LMIA to keep them in Canada after their studies. They are not just going to go to any employer. They are going to be looking for, if you are in BC, for example, British Columbia in Vancouver, you'll be looking for employers that are willing to sponsor your stay in the country. Because fundamentally, you can't work in Canada if you don't stay here. And if an employer does not issue you an LMIA or is not able to keep you back in the country, you are going to ultimately move or look for a job in any other country that offers you the kind of sponsorship that you look for. And understanding workplace culture refers to understanding the demands that work will give to you. There are employers in Canada that insist that you cannot work more than a particular amount of hours. The employers that insist that they cannot do this, they cannot do that, they cannot give you overtime, they cannot do this. It is your job as somebody who is looking for a job to find out, using these three keys, which one actually suits the experience you are looking for or the kind of work you are looking for. And it can also be that, and this is what I usually advise everybody that is a Black person in Canada, make sure you put yourself into a profession. What do I mean by that? While you are working, begin to tailor yourself to enter into an industry that is a profession. An example of a work that is a profession is an early child educator. You are something, you teach children, an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse, a physiotherapist, a sonographer, like professions that are something that are regulated, something that you can enter into and know that you are doing something that has a title. The reason is because those kind of jobs will always belong to people that are within that profession. And in the future, if you start today, the future of that profession will be decided by people who are low level at the moment. That is the entry level people. And so positioning yourself into professions show us that in the future, there's going to be a lot of Black leaders in many of these professions. And so if you are somebody that is medical field, I would say pursue your qualifications. If you're a lawyer, pursue your qualifications. If you are a teacher, a early child educator, or any of those things, pursue qualifications in the disciplines that you had when you were back home. Never allow the busyness of today to remove that expectation from you. And if you don't have any, begin to work towards those professions. And so, how do you learn this expectation? How do you ask these questions? A good way to ask these questions is to email the organization and ask them. You can call them up. You can find colleagues that work there already. Most companies in Canada have active people that work within it. At least I speak from BC perspective. I wouldn't know about other provinces. But many companies in Canada have people actively working there that have maintained active profiles on LinkedIn. So you can hit them up and say, what is going on? How do your people here behave? Because you don't want to waste time looking for a job in industries where you will not even have a future in. Or the amount of energy you would have deployed to find employment here, you would have used it to pursue employment in other quarters. It is really important to know this because depending on what it is that is your expectation, at the level of employment that you have, it is important for you to tailor yourself and your CV and your experiences to match that desire that you have. And I want to tell you that depending on whatever you want, there is an employer for that expectation. You have to find them. You have to do the connections that will allow you to get in there. So understand the job market. The perspective from which you understand the job market is the perspective of what it is that you desire out of the job market. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is not the job market alone that is the vantage point from which you make this decision. No. It is you, what you desire from the job market that allows you to make that decision on how you look for that job that you are looking for. Right. So on this point, I really wish that we can understand it very, very well, which is, even if I am unable to find what is it that I'm looking for, I can tailor myself to understand this job market enough to bring myself in alignment with what this job market will be offering and what I desire to get out of this job market. A second thing I want to point out is building your confidence and knowing your value. And the reason why I say this is that there are many of us who self-select ourselves out of opportunities because we feel like they will not take somebody like me. I've had so many people that I've had to sit one-on-one to explain to them that there is a way to transfer. When we say transferable skills, this means that things you already know how to do that can be tailored to meet the desires in the job description of this job that you are looking for. I don't like using buzzwords a lot, but I put these transferable skills because I don't really know what tailors what or says what I want to say better than the word transferable. Let me give you an example. Let's say you worked in Nigeria as a teacher, and part of your job as a teacher in a secondary school is to counsel students. There are students that you counsel, you sit young people down and tell them things about their life and help them plan their future. So let's say you come into Canada and you see a position for a counselor, and they say we need somebody that can counsel people or somebody that wants to do peer work or work with youth or something like that. You were literally doing this job, but in a secondary school setting back home, especially in Nigeria, for example. That skill of counseling young students can be transferred into a youth work in an organization in Canada. It's very simple. You won't say, oh, I use my experience fundamentally to teach students, and so I will wait for a teaching job to open up and then I'll apply. No. That job of teaching doing peer education, young people mentoring or whatever that the organization desires is the same thing. The core of the skill is part of the skill of a teacher, right? It is not all of it, but you should be able to tailor that experience to say, I have done something like this before. And so on for many things. Let's say you are somebody that does accounting. You have you worked in a bank balancing books, and then you want to apply for a position here, and you are not able to see that you did, like, this is simply the same kind of work, but literally deserves to be recharacterized. That is the way you creatively explain what you will do in order to match what is the experience in this new role that you are trying to apply for is really, really important. And so building that confidence in yourself that you can actually do this job sometimes comes from being able to tell yourself that the positions you were doing before have experiences that look alike or make sense or come close to what it is that you are desiring to do. The strengths of your application requires that you tailor that experience that you had before into the experience the person is looking for now. And one thing I've noticed is that when many of us want to write our CVs and all that, we just say generic things that we used to do and forget to immediately translate it into the words of the job description that we are going to enter into. Let me give you an example. I have worked as a teacher for years and all that, and there was a position that opened up for somebody to be like, your job in this new position is to have you help people write CVs and match them to positions in other companies, organizations and all that. You help people that are coming out of addiction, people who need help. You help them work on their CV to put them in a position. That's a job that came out in an organization I am aware of. And I have done this for years. Like even right now, part of the goal of this, or what can come out of this conversation we are having today, is something of that nature. But being able to articulate that could be a little difficult. Like I used to teach, I used to help young people that are looking for job. I used to review CVs for students just leaving school. How do I tailor that experience to meet this new work? I could just say I helped students, but if I say it like that, it will niche out. It will become too pinpointed that it will no longer touch the job description the person is looking for. The job that they want me to do, the new job I'm applying for, the wording of that experience I have will move me away from the ballpark of what they are looking for. And so what did I do? I had to tailor it in the words of the job description. You want it to be that when you are writing something in your CV, it is exactly saying, I can do this thing. If we are looking for a dishwasher, don't tell us that you are somebody that have cleaned several duplexes and you have experience cleaning house. No, they want to know, can you wash plate? That's it. Say it, I can wash dishes, I can operate machinery that washes dishes. I've washed dishes before. That is an experience that you had. I don't think there's anybody here that doesn't know how to do dishwashing. But what you may not be able to do is to be able to operate these big machines that actually wash industrial dishes, especially where dishes are done in large number, right? But even that is not difficult to figure out. And so using your experience in washing dishes to say that you can wash dishes is really, really important. That is why this highlighting the transferable skills you have is highly important. You may not have experience in that particular industry, but you would have done something that is similar to the way it is couched in the description of job that you saw. And what is important is to tie it immediately to that. No, don't beat around the bush. Say that you can exactly do what they are looking for. And a very important point to raise here is to present yourself as confidently as possible. I know some of our cultures highlight talking to people and looking away, You look away, you don't look people in the eye, you look every other place, you say, sir, and all that. But if you're in Canada, you should be very confident. The way the culture sees people who take off their faces is different. It just makes them doubt your ability to do what you say you can do. So look people in the face, give handshakes, but fundamentally follow people's gaze when they are talking. Like look them in the eye. Let the confidence burst out in you that you can do this job. And I assure you that there is hardly any job you cannot do. I don't know what job it is within your core area of expertise that you cannot do, or even a little branching off. Most of the jobs, anybody can do it. And you can be trained to do the job, and you can still present yourself confidently, apply yourself, and get to do that job better than the people that have been there before. Right. Does anybody have any questions so far? Or maybe I should move on. Maybe I'll take the questions right after. If you have any questions so far on what I've been talking about, or you want me to explain something more, please let me know. You can raise your hand using the chat options, or you can just type it in the chat. Right. I want to talk about setting job search plans. And this is most useful for somebody that is looking for a job that is their size. That is, you have finished school and you want to really get into the job market. You have your postgraduate open work permit and you really, really need a job that is your size. I want you to know that looking for a job at that level is a job in itself. What I mean by that is the kind of mental energy that it requires to set that kind of target for yourself is great, is important, is high. And what does that mean? It means that you need to know how you set your goals. So set clear goals. What it means is that I need a job in so and so profession. I studied this and this, and I'll be looking for work around this and this. Target roles that suit what you did in school and match with experience you had before you came to Canada, especially if you've just been in Canada in the past 2 years or 3 years. And track applications and follow them up. Don't just throw something out and wish that it will work. What I mean by that is, let's say you see a job on Indeed. Next thing they tell you once you click on it is apply here. I assure you that 90% of everybody who follow the chatbot option to attach their CV and cover letter and click submit will be rejected. I assure you of that. Why? Because sometimes the AI that platform works with is already programmed to reject an unprecedented amount of that application. So quickly get this thing, click out the email address and send them a rejection. In order to bypass that AI algorithm, find the person that posted that job and hit them with an email introducing yourself. That is one way that you bypass that AI bouncing engine. Bypass them. Go to that job, look for the person in that organization that should be able to post that job, send them an email with your CV connected. That way you bypass the AI that is going to make sure that your position is rejected. There are many advices online about how to scale the AI process. But my own advice is usually to bypass that process. Look for that organization on LinkedIn, go to their website, find out the person that is in charge of recruiting. If they have the name of the person on the advert, go and look for that person on LinkedIn or some other place, find their email and hit them an email. That is my own advice. And if you are in Canada, and depending on where you are, if you're in BC, I will advise you to look for roles that are your size, but in the regional areas. And this is advice I'm giving to people who are not students, who have just finished school and can move. You can stay inside town looking for a job in the big cities, Edmonton, in Calgary, in Vancouver, in Toronto, and you are missing the inner towns. And don't think that you have to find job in your particular area. Look for job all over the country. You can look for job in Saskatchewan. You can look for job wherever you want to. And the reason why this is important is that those regional areas are looking for people to come and join them. Every day you hear that Canada is full. It's only full in those towns that everybody is going to. Most, most of the regional areas don't have anybody living there. And they have incentives to make sure you remain. Take, for example, if you are in a rural area in BC and you don't have, and you are doing even the job of a janitor in a rural area, you are going to get your PR very soon, your permanent residence. At least I know for sure that they opened a janitorial position through the PNP to just give some of them in the rural areas. Those rural area jobs, do not sleep on them. I'm going to show you where to look for them very soon, for jobs there. And usually it's a small town, it's way colder than where you are. It doesn't have as much facilities, but it's okay. After all, what you basically do, even where you live now, is just to go to work and come back. And so you can visit the small towns on the weekend, the bigger cities on the weekend, or when you're on holiday, but do not sleep on the roles that come out in the small towns. And so if you ever get a position and you ever get to the position, to the place of interview, please, I will beg you, send a follow-up email after every interview. Thank them. Let them know you are thinking about the position. Call on the phone if you can, or even visit that organization and say, I just want to know what came out of my interview. I'm telling you, in fact, I've gotten a job like this, to be fair. I've done an interview and they forgot about me. And I called them. I said, I really need this job and all that. And they said, okay, you can come. I'm trying to say this, that some of the time, because we have so many jobs that we're applying for, we forget. And what I would say is write things down, know where you are with every employer, because what you are really wishing is to get into something that breaks that hold. You get what I'm saying? You need to get into something that breaks that hold. Once you have gotten in, it's easy to now know how to navigate yourself around. So writing a resume is important. And part of the things we promised is that we teach you how to write a resume here. I'm not going to review your resume at the moment, but I can tell you what you can do. And that is number one, tailor every application. What it means is that let that application be saying that you can do the job that they are telling you to do. It shouldn't say, I am a very good person, I can do all things. No, I can do this thing you want me to do. You are looking for somebody that does this, balances books, I can balance books. It's not that I am a bookkeeper or I'm an accountant. No, I can balance books. That's what the job description says. Put it there that you can do that and show that you have an achievement in doing that. You have done that before. You have done that before. And this last point of maintaining a master resume is what many people don't like. Not many people, but a few of us, because we are like, I tailor all my CVs. You don't now have a master resume. If somebody that is your colleague, like me, says, send me your resume, let me help you look at it, and it's like a generic resume, or I want to help you apply for something, I need you to send me the master one. A master resume is like a resume where you put everything you've done. All the books you have written, all the papers you've published, everything you've done that requires entering a CV, put it there. The reason why it's important to put it there is you may forget. You may even forget that you have experience that talks about something until you go back and look at your CV and you are like, yeah, I've done something like this before. Or you may forget the dates you did those things when you are trying to create a new CV for a particular job. Or if you are using an AI tool to help you tailor your CV, a master resume becomes really important because the AI can now distill from that master resume things you've done that make you qualified for this position. So a master resume is everything you've done. Some of us do two jobs. In the night, you are doing a remote work. In the day, you are going to work. Sometimes being able to isolate all of that can be a lot. So maintain a master resume. A master resume or a CV is a longer list of all that you've done. Nobody gets to see that. It's for you. If you win an award, you put it there. If you take a training, you put it there. If you do this thing, you put it there. In case you forget. And from there, you generate important factors you want to use to create your own CV for the job you're looking for. And I want to talk about this cover letter. A cover letter usually is used to introduce yourself to an employer. A cover letter usually when I send my applications, I attach a cover letter, a CV to an application, and then it's with an email. The email is something like, "Thank you so much for this offer. I writing to apply for so so and so." Attaches my cover letter and my CV. The cover letter is usually 1 page. The CV should not be more than 3 pages, 2 pages at most. Very good. But if you ever extend, yeah, 2 pages is usually okay. But a cover letter is how you tell a story. So CV is just, I did this from this year to this year. I did that from this year to this year. I studied here from this year to this year. A cover letter says, brings it all together and shows how you are a fit for the organization. It's like an interview before an interview. You are writing a cover letter in case somebody was ever going to look at your application. You are praying, let one person see my cover letter. Because if they see it, they will surely invite you for an interview. That's what a cover letter means. A cover letter ties everything together. A cover letter says, I can do this job, and this is what my CV will show you that I can do. So when that person is reading your CV, a cover letter have already set the tone for them. So you want that cover letter to be a miniature summary of what is in your CV so that the person will see how wonderful of a person you are. And tell them how you can do the job that they want you to do, basically. And the idea of keeping it concise is so that you don't go talking so much and your cover letter is like 2 pages. Usually 1 page is enough, or the signature page can go to the next page. But a cover letter should just say, I can do this work, and this is why I can do this work. Now, beyond what I've talked about so far, especially if you are going to build a profession, you are looking for a job that is a little difficult to get, like you are trying to be an academic, or you are trying to be get into a very big firm, or you want to work for a very big organization. Networking becomes something that is important in Canada. Networking means the people that will do interviews for you, they don't fall down from heaven. The people that will decide whether you can enter a particular profession, they also don't fall down from heaven. What does that mean? There are places you can go and you see those people. There are events you can go and you see those people. And when you ask questions, they nod and say, this person is a good person. And when they decide your application, the knowledge and the experience they had from meeting you in that event is going to color their understanding of who you are. And so I would say attend events for professions that you want to get into. So if you want to be an engineer, attend engineering events. Very likely the person that will make a decision on the job you are looking for will be in that conference. And Canada is not that very big. It's very likely everybody is going to know everybody. And I know that because in my profession, it's easy to know who is who and who is, like, I can see somebody and just mention any name and they know it. That's how I know it's not that big, because it can't be that two of us are knowing the same people. It's because the number of people to know are not so much. You get what I'm saying? In every profession in Canada, especially the professional professions, if I should use that word, they know each other, they attend the same events. You can put yourself in there, present a paper, talk to people, network. Network means just talk to people. Let them know who you are. Let them know you are down to look for a job. You are looking for something to do. You just finished school from so and so school, and you are looking for things to do. Let them recommend you to people. And there is something you will learn here, and that is this will be a biblical principle, which is ask and you shall receive. If you need anything from anybody, ask them. If they can't do it, they will say they cannot do it. But if you never ask, they are not going to assume that you need that. What do I mean by that? Let's say you applied for a job and you go to an event and you meet the head of that particular organization in that event. You can say something like, "Thank you so much. I remember I dropped an application for a job you advertised." You say, "Hey, really? Yes, for the position of so and so." And then you can whip in a remark like, "Would you be able to look into that for me?" It's really, really important to say things that you need because it's not a culture of let me just be working hard. People will know. No, nobody will give you what you don't ask for. There is a lot of consenting that is required in a culture of this nature. Very rarely would somebody call you up to take something that you didn't apply for. In fact, in many organizations, there are no promotion. You can stay in the same level, doing the same work for years. If you want a bigger opportunity in that organization or company, you have to apply for it. That's it. That's how many organizations now run in this country. So they will not give you something. They will not say, "Oh, we have noticed how hard you work. Please come and..." I've never had that. It's possible it happens. I can't say it's impossible. But what is very likely going to happen is that they are just going to say an opportunity has opened, apply for it. That way you show that you wanted that position and they can now accept you. And if you don't make that demand from them, you are not going to get it. And this is where I come to where you can get these positions. You can get these positions, number one, on job bank. And this is where many of us are sleeping on this. Northern areas have their own special job bank, different from other job banks. Work BC for the North, especially in BC, have their own job bank, different from other job banks. To get some of these positions, you need to go to this particular job bank for the areas you are looking for and look for those positions. Indeed, it's a very popular platform for posting jobs, and I think many of us know that. Work BC is also somewhere that is really important for people in Canada. If you are somebody that is a refugee, or you are somebody that is a permanent resident, or you are somebody that is a citizen, Work BC will really be beneficial for you. They allow you to work, they give you opportunities to learn a skill and things like that. And Work BC has its own job bank. You have to go and look for these positions. In the end, I look forward to a Canada where Black people have their own companies and we can even employ each other. But for many of us, this is just a step into the door. We are just like 2 or 3 years into the country. So it's important to be part of conversations like this. You get what I'm saying? And of course, there is the almighty LinkedIn that many of us are familiar with. But what I would do is if I see a job posted on LinkedIn or Indeed, I'm going to go back to that organization's website and I'm going to look for that opening as well. And I'm going to apply through the platform on their website, figure out who is in charge for making that decision, and send the person an email with my CV and my cover letter. That's the same thing I will be doing for all of these things. I will call on the phone. I've submitted an application. When can I expect an interview, for example? Usually they say, "No worries, we'll get back to you," and all that, but you have done something. You have made it top of mind for them. And this brings me to preparing for an interview. Let's say you do everything that I've said about this place and it actually gives you an interview. What should you do? Research the employer. This is what I usually will ask my friends when they say, "Uncle Sal, help us prep for an interview." I say, "Who is going to interview you?" Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the email that brings the interview will tell you who the interviewer is going to be. So research them. You may find they finished from your school. And so when you are going for that interview, throw in something that has to do with your school there. You get what I'm saying? You may find that they are doing your profession or they are something close to you or something that can make you relatable with them. Throw it in. Sometimes practice common questions with your friend. Look at in front of a mirror and practice, or find somebody that you can do mock interviews with online. Tell ChatGPT to generate common interview questions for the position you are going for, and just allow it to work the wonders. Right? Practice common questions. And I'll tell you one more thing. I don't know why I didn't put it here. And that is, especially if you are going for a sensible role, a big role, or something like that, go with a description of the work you want to do there for the next 2 years at least. So go with a little plan. It's easy to just make up something, 2 year plan in this position. This is what I'll be doing if you give me this role for the next 2 years. Just a plan. How you can hit the ground running. And don't be too uptight about it. Dress very well. But when you get an interview, practice questions, research will be interviewing you. Go with a plan. Go with a plan. And when you get there, distribute it to the panel and chill. Explain what you want to do with them. Let them now ask you questions. How will you do this? How will you do that? That way, you've taken control of the room, and that presence usually may make you to be strongly considered for that position. And yes, follow up professionally. When you leave that interview, make sure you send notes, make sure you send thank you notes, make sure you follow up with a call, and make sure you get a feedback. Don't allow them to just leave you hanging. You need somebody to at least bring closure to you. And this is where I conclude this conversation today. Our concluding talk will be to move with purpose, clarity, and confidence. And just know that your next position and opportunity is closer than you think. Thank you so very much. I don't know if this has been helpful. Let me know if there is something you've learned. Any participant can just tell me what you've learned, or if you have questions. Let's start with questions. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, I see. Thank you for the session. Can anybody ask any question? If you have any questions, appreciate you so much for that comment. Any questions? So we have a question here from a participant saying, how long after the interview can I follow up? I will say that I will make sure I give them a few days, maybe at least 2 days after, you know. You don't want to allow it to stay too long before they've already made a decision. You don't also want to appear like you are too desperate. But the goal usually, in my opinion, will be to give them at least 2 days. I would say at least give 2 days for them to get back to you, or just to hit them up. When you leave that interview, I will advise you to send an email immediately to say you thank them and all that. And if you don't hear anything in 2 days, just hit them back. My experience has always been that if they take, if you are one of the people they will get back to after 2 weeks, usually they are hitting you with, I'm so sorry, we apologize for so and so. Usually that's what they want to hit you with. So you want to get into the front of that queue as quickly as possible. And someone says, how can we use AI for drafting resume and cover letter without using it too much? So an AI tool is good for, let me just stop sharing so that we can see each other. Right. So an AI tool is good for, in my opinion, helping you to gather things together, right? Put your experiences together. But I will say that once AI tool has helped you gather that together, edit it yourself. That's the way you make sure it's not too much. AI can never know everything about you. And if you just use AI and dump it on the employer, it's very likely the employer will know that this is AI, and that will show that you didn't work very hard in producing that CV. That may just mean that, oh, this person just threw something into AI and is giving it back to me. It's better for you to take some time to really look at it and tailor it and rework it so that nobody will know. Let me tell you something. There was somebody, um, very recently, somebody wanted me to help them hire somebody, and somebody sent in a CV that I knew was surely made with Claude, you know, because he has all the Claude fonts. And I was just wondering, why didn't this person even make the effort to change some of the, signifiers of doing this thing with Claude? And I later asked them privately, say, this thing looks like you use Claude. He just laughed and said, how did I know? I said, because Claude, when it does this for you, you have the chance to edit it yourself, to copy it into another interface. Like, put some work into this. Don't make it look so easy. So I would say edit it a bit by yourself and put it, some of the alignments, push it a little bit. If possible, if the AI gives you a downloaded CV, say just download this, you can download this, then copy it to a different interface that doesn't have that AI specific style of formatting things. That's what I would say. But you can't run away from AI now. It's basically impossible. It can help you piece things together, but let it just be at that level. You yourself should put some effort into cleaning it up, in my opinion. Right. Any other question? Is anybody able to like unmute and talk or something like that? That would be really helpful because I've just been looking at my screen and talking to the computer. Right. Any other question? All right. So if we do not have any other question, I will just tell us that we are going to continue conversations like this. And this is our first webinar this year. A lot more will come targeted at different things that matter to us. And I want to tell you that we are keen to help you make good use of your time here. Yes, I did say, Chukudi, that I muted everybody. The reason why I muted everybody is so that when people are entering, their interface will not make any noise. But if you raise your hand, I can unmute you. If you like, I can. Do you want to be unmuted? Just raise your hand and I will unmute you, or just signify that you want to talk. But the reason why I muted it is so that if people come in, they don't like come in with their noise and spoil the flow of the conversation. Right. If you want to talk, we can quickly unmute you. Yeah.
Oh, anyway, I'm just reaching out to. I wanted to start by shouting Ezendibo. Anyway, thank you very much. It's always an eye-opener speaking to you or you speaking to us as well. And thank you for taking your time to do this for the community as well. And I hope that we'll have more of this and make it more, maybe like bi-weekly sessional or something. So like the more active uh or the more activity we have within the organization, the more prominent it also becomes. So it's just that our communities most times when they get free events or when we have free activities, they don't cherish it, right? So because I'm just so surprised about the number of people that I'm seeing here. And so like just opposing it with the number of like MasterCard students that just graduated and all of that, I was hoping I would see a lot of them here, but they are not. So just reaching out to say we really appreciate what you're doing.
Right. And I appreciate you too, but I will not blame anyone now. We didn't do a very good job promoting this event, to be sure. We could have done way more than that, but this is our first event this year, and we were like testing the waters. We didn't know, we didn't know what to do. The Mastercard students, especially from UBC, I speak with a number of them, and I really, really like they matter to me a lot because some of them don't know what to do and all that. And so, yes, I wish many of them were here, but I don't also blame them because we didn't do a very good job in promoting this talk, you know. And so we will be, from next time, we'll be doing this conversation every month, targeting different things. The idea is that this is an NGO work. We want people to be having these conversations. We want to talk about things that matter to you. So give us ideas. We are going to post this link on a YouTube page and send to everybody. So we really, really will speak to you. We'll be doing it every month. And the reason why we have to do it every month is so that we will also have time to publicize it the perfect way we really, really want to. And you can share it among your friends and just be in that conversation. It's really important for me as a person and to SOCEA as an organization that Black people are able to be in positions of power and authority beyond just being people who are looking for jobs. And we'll start small, but we get there. It's important my job is to be like a tank crier, to, bring your eyes towards these opportunities, force you to engage with them and make something good come out of it. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So thank you so much, Chukwudi. Any other comments before? If you want to unmute yourself, just let us know. We unmute you. We'll be ending in 2 minutes. So I'm going to leave time for one or two other comments and we'll call it a day. All right. So I appreciate you all for showing up and being a part of this event. You're going to be hearing from us soon. We are going to send you emails with the recording for this conversation. And we look forward to doing more things with you and, talking to ourselves and being better people and working out well in this community. On the strength of that, I remain Sopruchi Christian, Uncle Sop, and I will see you next month. Next month, we'll be talking about getting job as an academic in Canada. So if you want to teach in a university and you're a Black person, it will be good for you to join in that conversation because it will help you know what are the important things you should do from somebody that has succeeded in that direction. And on the strength of that, I want to say a big thank you to everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye.